guys, today's video is going to be my monthly roundup for the month of January. Now, I don't know what I'm titling this video yet. I haven't come up with like a fancy catchphrase for like favorites and fails. I don't know, maybe that's just what I'll call it, but that's basically what this is going to be. I'm just going to talk about all of the products that I tried in January. Not every product that I tried, but every product that I feel like I have a good enough opinion about to review is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So we have a little bit of everything. I have made videos on most of these things, and I will mention that when we get to the products themselves. So I think we should just go ahead and get in. I don't know if I'm going to be like sorting this in any particular way. I think we're gonna start with the Odens products because I have them all together here, and then we'll move into palettes, and then we'll do the rest of the stuff after. For future, I would love for you to tell me if you want me to include the palettes in this video, since I already do my ranking my last 10 palettes video, and I know that most of you who watch my channel watch me for like eyeshadow palette review, so you've probably already seen that video and it might get a little bit repetitive. So just let me know if you want me to include palettes in this video or just keep it to like other things, because I can definitely do that. But for this video, I'm just going to talk about like everything that I tried in January. So I'm pretty sure that this video is going up the day that the launch of the Odens products are. Was that correct grammar? I don't think so. Anyway, you know what I was trying to say. So I think the launch is today, so I thought I would run through the products really fast just so you can get mini reviews if you haven't already watched my video on these products. I will link that in the corner if you do want to go check it out. But so far, having a really good time playing with all of these. The only product that I feel like I can't really give you like the most thorough review on is the Norns palette. This is the large palette because I've only used this once, and I plan on starting my 3-look video with this tomorrow. So I can't give you like a super thorough review, but what I can say is that the metallics in this palette are spectacular, and the mattes that I use so far are also really nice. I've also made sure to watch like all of my friends' videos with this palette, and none of them have had any problems at all. So I'm pretty sure I can confidently say that if you want to pick this up, if this looks like something that you would like, I'm pretty sure that you would like it, because I haven't seen anybody struggle with this, and I had a really good time with this. I mean, obviously I have played with it a little bit, so I kind of have an opinion about it, but I can't say that I have like a full review. But I think that you're going to like this palette if you like this color story. I do have a code with Odens. It's just Annette, and it will save you 10% off. It is an affiliate code, just so you know, so I will make a small commission if you use it, but I thought I would let you know still. So let's talk about the small palettes. My favorite palette out of the bunch is the Earth palette. This palette is so cute. This color story is everything. I will put up the picture that I did with this palette on the screen here so you can see it. But I really like that look, and I thought it's such a me look. Like, it's so dark and so grungy and so just yummy. So let's talk about the next palette. This is the Verdandi palette. This is the more neutral palette, I guess you could call it, out of the bunch, but at the same time it's not really that neutral because it does have that very bright pop of red, and this coral is really nice as well. Really like this. These shimmers are incredible. I love the shimmer formulas in the split pans. They can be a little bit chunky, but if you use some kind of a glitter primer or glitter glue with them, they're definitely going to perform and look their best. So I would definitely recommend that if you plan on picking up any of these small palettes. You can also spray your brush. That works really nice too. And lastly, we have the Sculpt palette, which looks like this. This is an all shimmer palette. Again, if you want to try Odens shimmers and you don't really care for like all of these other palettes, then I would definitely say pick this up. This would be a great introduction to the brand if this is something that you feel like would add something to your collection. This is a beautiful companion palette to whatever mattes that you like to use, whether you like neutrals, whether you like color. This is a perfect palette for that, because you can just use one of these shades along with really basically whatever, and it's going to look spectacular because these shimmers are beautiful. The only one that's not really my favorite is this one right here, because it's more of a satin formula, which just isn't really my favorite, but the color of it is really nice, and I think that if you like something a little bit more subtle as well, you would probably really like that, because it is a gorgeous color. Now let's talk about the highlighters. These are so cool. I saw Odens post a video with these on their Instagram. I will actually insert that so you can watch it, but basically they show the whole process of making these highlighters and why they're all so unique, because they are all handmade and hand pressed individually, and they all look different. And what I love about it is that it's not just an overspray. Like the pattern in the pan is not an overspray, so it will stay all the way through, which just makes them so cool. And like on the face, they look beautiful. I do think though, if maybe you have a very fair skin tone, some of these might leave a little bit of a cast. I can't really tell you for sure, because I am more of like a light, pretty much a light skin tone right now. In the summer, I go more towards a medium, but usually I'm like anywhere between a medium and a light, and these work very, very nicely for me. Another thing I just quickly want to say as well is that I do have a little bit of hard pan in this one, which I think is because I swatched it, so I would definitely recommend that you don't put your fingers in these products just to make sure, because now it's a little bit hard for me to pick this one up on a brush. This is in the shade Veil of Future, but this is probably my favorite out of the bunch, so I'm definitely going to be able to get use out of it. It's just going to take a little bit of digging into the pan to get it onto my brush. Now this one is the only one I haven't tried on my face yet because I just haven't really done a look that's going to kind of go with this, so I'm gonna end up trying this probably when I'm doing my 3-look video with this, which should be up in a few days when you see this. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's going to be the plan. So this one is in the shade Spring of Life. Such a beautiful packaging, and I just love these. Like I said, if you haven't watched my video, I did very thorough swatches and I tried out all of the products, so if you want more information, just go watch that video. The last of the highlighters here is the one in Web of Destiny. This is also beautiful. This is such a cool, like kind of rose goldy pink highlighter, I guess you could call it. It's so pretty. I love this. I think, see, I'm swatching it, which is probably a bad idea, but oh, just look at that. It's so pretty. I love this. So these are so, so cool. And overall, all of the products in the new Odens collection, I think they did such a fantastic job, and it makes me so happy to see a brand that I love come out with something that's just right up my alley and something that I really love. And speaking of love, the new lipstick formulas, amazing. Depending on what you like in your lip products, of course. I like something that is either matte or like very, very comfortable to wear. So like these are perfect because they have a matte formula as well as a satin formula, and the matte formula stays on so nicely. Looks really, really good even if your lips are dry, which is definitely the case for me right now. So I would say if you like bullet lipsticks, you like the colors in their range, I think that you're really going to like these. And I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about picking up something from the launch or just picking up anything from Odens in general, try out one of their lip products because all of their formulas are amazing. I'm not personally the biggest fan of the liquid lipsticks just because I've kind of fallen off of the liquid lipstick train recently, and that has nothing to do with the formula. It's just because it's not really what I'm reaching for these days. But I have heard from the people who have tried them that they are really, really good, or I should say the people who like liquid lipsticks, I've heard that they say they're really, really good. I've obviously tried them and I think they're fine, but they're a little bit drying. But just in general, Odens lip products are incredible, so don't sleep on those because they are really, really good. Now let's move into the rest of the palettes that I want to talk about. So let's start with this one because I love this palette. This is the Club Nebula palette that Angelica did in collaboration with Kaleidos, and I had such a good time playing with this. I said in that video that I wasn't going to like review it because Angelica is my friend and I didn't want to give this a bad review, but I'm so glad I don't have to because this palette is incredible and I think that the formulas are spectacular. I think she did such a good job with the color story, and there is absolutely nothing I don't like about this palette, and it just makes me so happy. I think this is gorgeous. Such a beautiful palette. I hope that you guys who wanted to get your hands on this were able to get your hands on it. Dare I say that this is the best palette that Kaleidos has ever made? I'm pretty sure it is. Like if I were to rank my Kaleidos palettes right now, this would be on top, like without a doubt, because I love the color story so much, and I love everything about this. If you want to see the video that I did with it, I will link it in the corner. I did 3 looks with it straight off the bat because I couldn't help myself. I wanted to dig in and I just wanted to play, and like I said, just had such a good time. Let's talk about a palette that I just did not have a very good time with. Unfortunately, the Makeup a Murder Burner Phone palette was a bit of a flop for me, which makes me so sad because I love this brand so much and I haven't had any problems with any of their other palettes, so the fact that this palette was kind of a dud makes me so sad. I know I said in my ranking my last 10 palettes video that I felt like the formula in this palette was as if they had taken their loose neon pigments or like their loose pigments in general and just pressed them into a pan. Like that's kind of how I felt. Like these shadows don't have a lot of binder in them, so they're not very buildable. So you really can't maneuver them around a lot. You can't build on them a lot. You can't do much but just like place them down and leave them alone. And sometimes I don't mind that, but for the most part, I like to be able to blend a little bit, you know? Like I like to have a little bit of wiggle room with my shadows, and as much as I don't really blend that much, I still need to be able to, blend 2 colors together and maybe even build 2 colors on each other. Like that should not be too much to ask for. And I feel like with this palette, even though I only used it once, I just had such a bad time that I'm probably never going to reach with this palette again, which kind of sucks, but that's just kind of how it goes. And since I have so many palettes, I'm not going to spend my time on a palette that I don't think that I'm going to enjoy when I have so many palettes that I absolutely love in my collection. And speaking of one of the palettes that I tried this month that I fell in love with, it's one of the best palettes that I've tried in such a long time. This is the Break the Rules palette from It's Belle Cosmetics. If you have not watched my videos on this, pause the video right now, go watch them. I will link both of them in the corner. I've done 4 looks with it. Here's what the palette looks like. This is an all shimmer, sparkly duochromy goodness. I don't even know if I think there's even a multi-chrome in here. But these are so shifty and so beautiful and so glittery and just so fun, and they add so much to a look, and they are amazing. This palette is only $28. I actually do have a code with It's Belle Cosmetics now. I said in my last video that I kind of jokingly said that I hoped that they would give me a code, and they did decide to start an affiliate program, so my code is only Annette, and it will save you 10% off. It is an affiliated code, but if you want to get this palette, you can save 10%, which is awesome because this is already affordable. So like I've said in the past, if you want to know more information about this palette, just go follow them on Instagram. Let's talk about a palette that I was sent from Ofra, because I got a huge packet from Ofra, which I'm so thankful for. Unfortunately, a lot of the things in that package are just like very neutral eyeshadow palettes, which I'm never going to use, so I'm going to gift those to people because those are going to make for amazing gifts. And I did try one of the palettes here, which I will show you. So this is the Signature Palette Luxe, and as you can see, it's a very, very neutral palette. I did an Instagram video with this. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to put that up. I'll put it up here, and hopefully the video isn't so long that you can't really see, you know, the shadow look because the video is too long. Maybe I'll speed it up or something. But I did have a really good time with this, and I think that the formula from Ofra is really, really nice, and I didn't have any problems. The color story, however, is just a little bit too neutral for my liking, so I have to kind of pull down a few points for that, but that's not their fault. That's just, you know, me trying a palette that I knew I wasn't going to like the color story of, and that's why I'm not like in love with this. But I do think that if you like neutrals, which I'm not sure why you're on my channel, but if you do like neutrals, I think that you would love it. I think it's a really nice formula, super easy to work with. The mattes blend like a dream, and it's just a fun little, you know, neutral palette if that is what you are into. Now let's move to another palette that I didn't have the best time with. This is from Beauty by Stoney, and this is the Remedy 2 palette. I will show you the color story of this. I have not done a dedicated video on this, but I've done an Instagram video, so I will link that. Just go follow me on Instagram. But I did a video with this palette, and it just isn't really it. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but I didn't really have the best time with the mattes. I didn't think that they were super pigmented. It took a long time to build up. The shimmers are extremely just dry and kind of chalky, and they don't really look that good on the lid. And maybe this one is a little bit nicer. Yeah, it's not really all that. Like, that's the one that looks the best in the pan. Obviously, I didn't use that because it's a bronze, but yeah, even that one is kind of lackluster. I've only done one look with it, but I can just tell that this formula is not for me. It's not something that I would ever reach for, and I think that the selection of the mattes are just way too similar, and there's really only so many looks you can do with this, despite it having like a lot of shades. I don't know. I feel like if you blend 2 of these mattes in together, like, it's just gonna end up looking the same. Like, these 2 maybe could look a little bit different, but like this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they're all so similar in tone and saturation that you can't really build one on top of the other because one isn't lighter than the other. They're all the same. So I don't know. Not the most versatile color story, not the best formula in the palette. Probably wouldn't recommend it. Last palette I want to mention is the Blueprint palette from Melt. I've done 2 videos with this, and when I did my videos, I had a good time with it, but I didn't have like an amazing time like I did with the It's Belle Cosmetics palette, because I feel like even though the formula is nice, like, I didn't have any problems working with it at all. I just feel like it could have been so much more. Like, I feel like there was something just, it lacked a little extra oomph, you know? Like, I just wish that this was a little bit more than what it is. I kind of wish there was a couple of more mattes because it only has 2 mattes. That would have helped it. I also just wish that the shimmers would have been a little bit more just exciting. Like, they're kind of boring. They're not really all that, but again, like, the quality is nice, and I think that if this is what you look for in your eyeshadow formula, I think that you would love this. It's just a personal preference thing, and that is also why this palette ended up kind of high, like, in my rankings. I think it ended up as number 2, is because it's not a bad palette. I didn't have like really any complaints about like the quality or anything like that, and I really did like the looks that came out of it. It's just that it's not perfect for me, and I think that for the price point, I think you can get something very similar to this. There are so many half neutral, half blue palettes on the market right now that I just don't think you need to spend $48 on this color story. But if you like melt and you just want this palette, I mean, go for it. I don't think you're going to dislike it. Let's move into the rest of the products that I want to talk about. So let's start talking about some brushes, because I was sent a amazing PR package from BK Beauty, which I'm so thankful for. I don't even know if these are all the brushes, but I got sent 2 brush sets, an eye brush set and a face brush set, and I've been using these quite a bit, but I've definitely gotten like my favorites out of the bunch, because my one complaint, which is just like a me thing, but a lot of these brushes are simply just too big for me because I do have a really small face. So all of these face brushes, it's just very hard for me to use them and get the application that I want because they're just so big. Like, they're so big. Like, I wish that, I don't know if they have smaller face brushes than this, but if they do, I would absolutely be interested in them. But as of this very moment, I have a hard time using the face brushes just because of how big they are. I think the quality of all of them though are amazing, and I'm so grateful that they sent them to me, and I'm so happy I was able to try them out. But since I do like just smaller brushes, I have not really been using these a lot, but I have been using some of them, and I will tell you my favorite brushes from BK Beauty because I've gotten a few here that I really like. So these 3, wait, that's not 3, that's 4. These 4 are my absolute favorites. So this is the, let's see, what are you called? This is the 106 brush. I think this is supposed to be a concealer brush, but I've been using it for my foundation. This is really nice. This is the kind of brush that I like for my foundation. As you can see, it's very dirty, but I like something that's domed, but kind of dense and fluffy at the same time. Like, this just distributes foundation so beautifully, and it just looks really nice. It doesn't look streaky, and I just love this for a foundation. I've been using this pretty much every day, and I need to wash it because I've been using it pretty much every day. I also have 3 eyeshadow brushes here that I really like. The first one here is my favorite. This is a kind of flat packing brush, but you can also blend with it, which is really nice. I love the shape of this. It's very versatile because you can do a lot with it. Like I said, you can pack, you can blend, you can smudge underneath the eye, and it's just a great brush. This is the 203. It's also not like super big, so like I can easily put shimmers on my lid, no problem. I can get underneath my eye if I want to. I can pack in the outer corner and I can blend it through. It's just a really nice brush. This is like an all-around brush, and it's hard to find brushes like this because there's not that many out there. So I really like this. Another brush that I really like is the 202. This is a blending brush. It's quite a large blending brush. I know some people would say that this is small, but for me, this is very big. But I like using this to just blend out the edges after I've put down a color. It's really nice for that. Or even just like going over the edges when I'm done with my look to really get like that nice blend, because it's nice and pointy, but it's also very fluffy at the same time. But it gives me like a very precise blend. And I also I love holding these. Like, they just feel really nice in the hand. That's a weird thing to say, but there's something about like, not the weight of the product, but just the feeling of like holding the brushes make me happy. And they're also just beautiful. Like, I love the designs on them. I love the colors. I think that these are really nice quality. The last brush that I want to mention is the 205. I think that these are all sold individually. Not 100% sure, but I will link their website down below, obviously, and you know, all of the products that I'm talking about today. But this is a angled but kind of fluffy brush, and I like this for, especially underneath my eye. It's really nice for like smudging out colors, and you can kind of like put down the color and then you can flick it out, which you guys know I like to wing out my eyeshadow, so I do that quite a bit, and it's really nice for that. You can just kind of change the direction of it and get your shadow to like go where you want it to be. It's really nice. It blends up beautifully. You can really get in there because it's quite tapered, but it's also very good for blending. I don't know, there's something about these angle brushes that I quite like them, even though I don't reach for them that often, but when I do, I really do like them, and I think that this one is a really good one. Some other brushes that I would like to just quickly talk about is I got a set from Alter Ego when they sent me their newest palettes. You probably noticed that I didn't talk about the palettes. It's just because I'm not going to use the neutral palettes. That is going to be given away to someone, and I also just don't have like the best opinion about the Blooms palette because I've only used it once, and I just don't know if I have time to go back to that palette with what I have currently that I need to be filming with and what I know is coming in. It's probably going to take a while if I'm ever going to get back to that palette, so you're probably not going to get like a thorough review on that, and I apologize, but sometimes I just don't have time to like properly review every single thing in my collection because I don't like to really do more than one look every day. It's just kind of how it is. Like, if it gets to a point where I have to do my makeup more than once a day to be able to do the things that I want to review or do the looks that I want to do, it just becomes less fun and more work. And it's also just not that good for my eyes. Like, it's really rough on my eyes to do my makeup more than twice a day. So I do it sometimes if I really need to catch up on stuff or if there's something I need to like film it really quick. But if it's something that I don't really feel like I have to do, I'm not going to do that to myself because it's not good for my eyes. So let's talk about the brushes because they sent me a brush set. This is not all of them. I have like 4 cups of brushes in front of me and they all have like different brushes in them, and all of these brushes are in like different cups, and I can't find them and like pull them all out. But I'll have a picture of the brush set on the screen, and I gotta say that I think that this is a really, really nice brush set, especially for the price. If you have been looking for an affordable synthetic brush set, get this one. I think these are really, really nice. So far the quality is amazing. I mean, I haven't washed them yet, so I can't tell you how they hold up, but for now they remind me a lot of the quality of the BH Cosmetics brushes, which I really like. Like, I have 2 sets. I don't have every brush left from both sets, but I do have a couple that I absolutely love and I use all the time. So like I was saying, if you want new brushes and you want synthetic brushes, these are really nice. I do have a code with Alter Ego. I think it's an 10. Pretty sure it'll save you 10%. It's also affiliated, just so you know, but these brushes are really nice. Let's talk about a package that I got from Stylevana. I know I've used some of these products in a video and I really only want to talk about one product because it's the stand-up product for me and it's the product that I feel like I really, really fell in love with, and that is a cushion foundation from a brand called Moonshot. Unfortunately, when I used this in my video, I will link that up there if you want to see it. When I used this in the video, I had not looked up the shade range, and one of you guys told me that this only comes in 3 shades, and this is the darkest shade. So I feel a little bit bad being like, this is amazing. But honestly, this is amazing. And I really hate to say that, but I have just fallen in love with this cushion foundation. This is my first ever time trying a cushion foundation. It's what I'm wearing today. It's a medium coverage foundation, and it just, for being a cushion foundation, which I always thought was going to be like super dewy, but once I set this, it lasts so well. Like, it's one of those foundations I feel like that look the same when I put it on as it does when I take it off. And I mean that in the best way possible because this isn't like a super matte foundation. So even right after applying it, like, I've done my makeup now like an hour ago, and this is how it's going to look at the end of the night. And I don't think that it looks dry at all. Like, it starts off looking very healthy looking and it just stays that way. Like, it doesn't get like super oily or break down or do anything weird. It just looks good, which, you know, that's kind of crazy, at least to me anyway. Most of the foundations that I like are like super matte finishes because I just need that for my oily skin, but this one is really, really nice. Again, I feel a little bit bad being like, this is awesome, but if you have a skin tone similar to mine or you're lighter, I think this is the darkest shade, like I said, you would probably really like this. And it's also quite affordable. It's like $18, I think. I have mine in the shade 301, just, you know, for reference. If you've been thinking about trying a new foundation, maybe try this one out. Couple more products in here. I do have some Ofra products that I want to talk about, but first I got a package from Good Molecules and they sent me their Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel. Say that 6 times fast because I said 5 times last time. This is a eye gel that you put on in the morning or at night if you want, but this is an eye cream that's supposed to, it says, help revitalize and energize the eye area. And I've been using this for the past week in the morning before I do my makeup, and it just gives you like a really nice, not cooling, like sort of cooling feeling, and it just feels really nice. I don't know if it actually does anything because I've used it for a week and I'm not the kind of person who like inspects my skin and like expects changes, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I use this because it feels nice and that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. It's very affordable. If you want something that's pleasant underneath your eye, you probably like this. I do have an affiliate code with Good Molecules. I will of course leave that down below as well. All of my codes are always in my description box. They might be a little bit further down than most people. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should move them up a little bit. Maybe I should do that. But everything is, you know, down below if there's anything that you are curious about and you want to save some money. Last product before we get into the Ofra stuff is from Mercier. I also used this one in the video where I used the cushion foundation, and this is a concealer stick. So I've gotten quite a few packages from Mercier with different kind of things, and this was definitely one of those things that I was like, most intrigued by, because a lot of the other products aren't really like something that I reach for, but a concealer is definitely something that I use all the time. So I tried this out and I gotta say, I like how it looks underneath my eye. I think that these two together, like there's a brightening side and a concealer side, and even though the colors look pretty similar, like they're a little bit different, and you can definitely use both of them together and it looks really, really nice. I wish it was a little bit creamier. It's a little bit of a thicker formula, and so it makes it kind of hard to blend out, so you don't want to use too much because it can end up looking a little bit dry. But if you use a little bit, it has really nice coverage. And if this is the kind of product that you like, if you're someone who likes very quick and effortless looks, you like to use your finger to blend in your makeup, I think this is probably like the best way to use this. I can see myself bringing this traveling for days where I just barely want to put on anything. Like this is going to be perfect for that, which is rare, but you know, sometimes when you're traveling and you just don't want to spend a lot of time like getting ready in the morning, something like this is really, really nice actually. And I can see myself getting use out of that for days like that. So I'm definitely going to keep that for, you know, times where I don't really want to do like a full face of makeup, because I feel like for that purpose, it's better to just use a liquid concealer that I normally use and then just use a brush to blend it out, because that's how I usually apply my makeup. But I can see myself getting use out of this. And the more I use it, the more I like the formula. It's just that I don't really like how it blends out with a brush. That's like my one complaint. And I also just don't really love using my fingers to do makeup with. It's just a personal preference thing. I know a lot of people love that, but yeah. Let's move into the last couple of products here. So the first product is such a hit because this is one of the best products, or one of the products that I've reached for the most ever since I tried it. So this is the bronzer that Samantha March did in collab with Ofra. Does this have a name? I guess it's just called Rephr. So I have been so in love with this bronzer, especially after dyeing my hair orange. It's quite a warm tone bronzer, so maybe it was a little bit too warm tone for me when I had my purple and green hair, even though those were kind of like warm colors. But now that I have my orange hair, I feel like this just looks really, really nice. It complements my hair, it complements my skin tone very nicely. It's not so pigmented that like it gets out of hand, and even though it looks a little bit intimidating in the pan, like the color of it might look a little bit dark, but it just shears out and blends out so beautifully, and it's just such a nice formula. It's so easy to work with. I love this. I think this is so nice. I wasn't sure if I would love the color the first time I tried it, but the more I use it, the more I want to keep using it, because this is really nice. Like this has taken over my... See, I don't even remember what bronzer I used before. I think I used to use the Kaleidos ones. This is completely taken over, and I can see myself just using this all the time. Another product that I can also see myself continuing to use all the time is the HD Volumizing Mascara. This is such a good mascara. Don't sleep on this. It's so good. Like, this has taken over my Bad Gal Bang, which I never thought I would say that, but I reach for this over my Bad Gal Bang most days. I do try to rotate them just because I have both of them open. Sometimes I'll layer them just to get use out of both, but I think this is my new favorite. I think this is such a good mascara. Like, there's nothing I don't like about it. It builds beautifully, it separates beautifully, it gives me the volume that I want, and it just looks really, really nice. I don't personally struggle with like smudging and flaking in mascaras. I don't know if that is just me. So I haven't had any issues with any of that. And I also kind of like that this is more of a drier formula. If you tried the Bad Gal Bang and it was a little bit too wet for you, which that one is definitely very wet in the beginning, this is way more of a dry formula, but I haven't found it to really dry out at all yet. It still looks exactly the same as it did when I first got it. It does have one of those spiky ones. I don't know, maybe not everybody likes these. I love these. These are my favorite kind of ones. I feel like it just gets in there very nicely. But yeah, I have just been absolutely loving this. And I feel like people are sleeping on this mascara because I have not heard anybody talk about this. I didn't even know Ofra had mascaras until they sent me this. And I'm so happy to have this because it has become a new holy grail. Last product that I want to talk about. This is a product that I've been using pretty much every single day since I got this, and this is the Ofra liquid liner. Again, I didn't know that Ofra had liquid liners, but this is a fantastic liner. This is a brush tip liner, which is my favorite, and it is so precise. And it just glides on so smoothly. It's so black. It's maybe not the most matte finish, but what I kind of like about this is that when you layer it over certain metallics, it's almost, I don't want to say it's see-through, but it just gives the liner such dimension. Like you can totally build it up and have it be like super opaque, but the first coat over like some kind of a multi-chrome shadow, it makes the liner look so cool. And I also just love how easy it is to apply. I love that it has a shaky thing in it, and I also love that the cap is one of these so that you can easily get product into the tip of it and it's not going to dry out. So I have just been loving this. It's such a nice eyeliner, and it's just nice to have an eyeliner that's a little bit more well known than a brand that I used to use in the past, because my favorite liner for the longest time, for like 2 years, is from DHC Cosmetics, and I don't even know if most of you have heard of this brand. I hadn't until Samantha March actually talked about this in one of her favorites in, man, it's been like 3 years now. I bought this, I've been buying it ever since, and I love it, but now it's going to be replaced with the one from Ofra because I love this just a little bit more. I think this is such a nice eyeliner. So those were all of the products that I wanted to talk about for this month. I'm not sure how many products I'm going to have for next month because I haven't really, it's like the 5th now when I'm filming this. I'm probably posting this the same day or maybe the 6th, not really sure. But I haven't really gotten a lot of products this month. I have gotten a package from SHEIN by SD with their 2 new collections, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be digging into those. So you'll be getting a multiple look video with those as well as a review. So can't wait for that. So that's gonna be it for January's, whatever you want to call this video. Let me know if you like this, and also let me know how you feel about me talking about the palettes in this video as well, because I can definitely skip them since I talk about them in all of my other videos. So that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see, I don't know, something else, here's the video. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.